Now, if you're like a lot of people, you've tuned out of sports ball altogether, mostly because it's been so heavily politicized. It's been infected with political statements, having kneeling on the 50-yard line and every morning sports show getting political. People like Max Kellerman, making everything into a political argument. Stephen A. Smith, all these early morning talk show hosts really just want to talk about politics. And that's why, of course, ESPN ratings continue to tank, because nobody's interested in this endless garbage that they put out. There's so much that they could talk about. What they figured out, by the way, is there's so much they could talk about in relation to sports and what happens between the lines and all that kind of stuff. But this isn't what gets views, because people want to consume more, fake race bait outrage. And this started a couple of days ago, where one of the commentators on the right, Kendrick Perkins, probably one of the least eloquently spoken, one of the has some of the most boneheaded takes on a panel full of people who have boneheaded takes. But he implied the other day that through selective data, by the way, he implied that the people that vote for MVP, which is an award that, matters less than NBA championships to NBA players, were racist because they voted for a white guy who also happens to be one of the best players in the NBA. And I don't know if I can play these clips or not, or how ESPN is, but I'm going to try to give you the full context because, well, I'm a white guy calling a black guy something a black guy said racist. So, I have to provide the context. So here's what he said that kind of sparked it all.
Why didn't he never bring up this in particular subject? When it comes down to guys winning MVP since 1990, it's only 3 guys that won the MVP that wasn't top 10 in scoring.
Why did he pick 1990, by the way, and ignore the other 50 years of NBA history?
Do you know who those 3 guys were?
Who were they?
Steve Nash, Jokic, and Dirk Nowitzki. Now, what do those guys have in common? I'll let it sit there and marinate. You think about it.
They're white. You probably maybe you don't watch sports ball, but they're white. There is no by the way, being the MVP in the NBA does not have to, a requirement is not being in the top 10 in scoring. It's just a boneheaded take, just absolutely boneheaded, not fact-based whatsoever. So then JJ Redick comes on, who's easily one of the biggest rising stars in NBA commentary, you'll see.
It is an honor to be on this desk every day. It really is. But what we've just witnessed is the problem with this show, where we create narratives that do not exist in reality. The implication, what you are implying, that the white voters that vote on NBA are racist, that they favor white people. You just said that. Yes, you did.
He did say that. You heard it, right? He's like, well, what do they have in common? I'm not going to say. He went right up to the line, close enough for anybody who's not a complete moron to see.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That is exactly what you implied, Kendrick Perkins. That is exactly what you implied. Secondly, hold on.
I did not call. I stated the facts.
Oh, there you go. So now he's just saying, yes, I did say that, essentially. He's admitting that.
And you're not about to sit up.
We all know what you implied the other day. We all know what you implied just now. Hold on.
I stated it's the facts. It's the facts.
The guy that talks the loudest is usually the one that's right. So, of course, social media has been absolutely, if you look at JJ Redick, here's Clay Travis. JJ Redick just went on ESPN and accused him of making up racism narratives. Good for Redick. He's 100% right here. Kendrick Perkins said this last week, that Jokic is getting the MVP because he's white. It's obviously ridiculous. How many times has LeBron James won MVP? How about Kobe Bryant? How about Shaquille O'Neal? How about get out of here. I mean, it's absolutely insane. But he's 100% right. When it comes down to it, you don't have to be in the top 10 in scoring to win the award. And this is the truth. Let's just look at this article from 2020. ESPN hits all-time 41-year ratings low as Woke Center on Roids takes over. On Wednesday, ESPN studio programming, which has become MESPN's, I don't really know. Woke Center on Roids has hit 41-year low. First Take was the highest rated ESPN show all day, posting just 211,000 viewers. That was the 93rd rated program on all of cable. Putting those numbers into context compared to other shows airing on the same day, Nick Cannon's Wild and Out on VH1 had 50% more viewers. Craig of the Creek on Cartoon Network posted 200,000 more viewers. Jay Leno's Garage defeated it. Okay? First Take had just 211,000 viewers, the lowest number of viewers I've ever seen for the show. Because all of ESPN's studio program has hit all-time lows in the past 2 weeks, Highly Questionable had just 151,000 viewers last week. That's the lowest I've ever seen. Around the Horn, 175,000. It's no surprise that ratings have been down across the board for sports programming without sports. This is, of course, during the lockdowns. But they've also pivoted during that phase to talking about politics all the time. The ratings are clear about it, and the ratings are clear that sports fans just want to watch games as well. Twitter gets happy when athletes and sports commentators weigh in on non-sports topics, but Twitter, as always, isn't the real world. It's a distorted funhouse mirror carnival verse of the real world. The data is clear. Sports fans want sports. Yet here we are right back where we were several years ago when Caitlyn Jenner was getting an ESPY on ESPN. Woke Center fails every time ESPN embraces it, potentially an election year where sports fans are craving something other than politics all the time. I mean, this has been an ongoing issue with SportsCenter getting woke. And is this the world that we're going to, Kendrick Perkins 110% implied that the only reason that, the guy who's got 1 million triple doubles didn't deserve it. You see, Swiper wrote, Kendrick Perkins suggests that Nikola Jokic is winning the MVP this year because he is a white European. On national television, this talking point started 2 weeks ago and has got worse and worse since. Here's Kendrick Perkins uploaded a video on Twitter doubling down on his take that Jokic, Nash, and Dirk only won MVPs because they were white, and then deleted the tweet. Sad what, here's Vic Lombardi saying here, who's I think a voter too. I think sad what Kendrick Perkins is insinuating right now, just doubling down on a flawed argument. It's sad. And then you see here, JJ Redick confirms, it's like, man, JJ Redick had Big Perk heated. So now he writes, last year I was a coon. This year I'm a racist. Well, dang, which is it? It's neither. I call out facts and I'm not afraid to address the elephant in the room. Again, insinuating that they are racist, that he was correct. And this is just one of those things where he's going to try to, I don't know. A speaker of truth has no friends, getting ratioed. Here's 2,000, barely ratioed. White guys can hoop, but I also know media favors white guys that can hoop. Really? I think pretty sure Giannis Antetokounmpo is pretty popular. JJ been cooking you. There's seriously plenty of black folks in the replies. JJ been cooking you. Stop using the race card when it's unnecessary. Jokic outplayed everybody, and you act like the top 2 MVP players are Jokic and Luka, who are both white. Giannis and Embiid, also non-American players. You used white instead of foreign because that would ruin your narrative. Oh, good point. Perk, you are just as bad of an analyst as you were a player, and that's saying a lot. It wasn't no elephant in the room. Take your L, carry on. Here's the one thing about sports fans, and what I'll say about here's what I'll say about black sports fans that I've interacted, including in the in the NBA, because the NBA has obviously always had white players, but only recently have you had so many that are playing at an extraordinarily high level. In the past, you might have a Stockton or a Nash, like that, but now there are a half dozen guys that throughout the year could be talked about as an MVP. Almost all of them imports, I think, but that I've never seen people who like hoops. I'm a closet NBA guy. Many of you guys know I watch the Bucks games. I'm a huge Bucks fan. I have been my whole life. Season ticket holder until the whole Hong Kong thing. Still love my Milwaukee Bucks. And if you can hoop, you can hoop. They don't care if you're white or black. I've never seen a guy like Dirk not get credit from actual fans of the game. You know what I mean? It's weird. And so the facts that you call out Dirk, Nash, and Jokic won MVP because of white privilege while also giving fake stats. Perk, you got cooked this morning, with all due respect. It's just bad. It was just a bad take. He's been doing what a lot of people do when they have bad takes, tripling, quadrupling down. The fact of the matter is, I don't really care. I don't think real good players care about winning MVPs. They want to win chips. But, Jokic obviously is a very, very good player. Luka's a very, very good player. It has nothing to do with their skin color. The same way Giannis being great at basketball and Joel Embiid also, being good, have nothing to do with their skin color. They work hard. They hone their craft, and they get very good. I mean, go look at how big Giannis Antetokounmpo was when he was in the league, when he got drafted, versus now. That's not skin color. That's time in the gym. Go look at the way that, I guess Luka and like Jokic are less, they haven't really changed their physical specimens, but their games have evolved. A guy like Jokic, makes the right play. The guy doesn't get average a freaking triple double if he's not passing the ball. If he's not, so the whole thing is ridiculous. I won't bore you with sports stuff, but he got absolutely owned right on live TV, and I absolutely love to see it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.